century ago, a company of Russian fur traders under the command of Alexander Baranov, director of the Russian-American Company, established a colony on Baranov Island and named it Sitka, capital of the new Russia that is known today as Alaska. And now, as we sail into the harbor of Sitka, we behold enduring landmarks that recall the days of Russian rule in this remote part of the world. Our good ship, the Baranov, safely anchored in the heart of this historic harbor. We go ashore in tenders, and while en route, we are told that Sitka is the oldest town in southeastern Alaska, with a present population of about 1,700 inhabitants, most of whom depend upon the fishing industry for a livelihood. The fishing industry, by the way, is said to have yielded 3 times the value of Alaska's gold during the past 22 years. The most conspicuous example of American influence in Sitka is this modern building, erected as a home for the pioneers of Alaska, a fitting tribute to the efforts of our country in providing for those who helped to build it, even here. An interesting contrast to this imposing edifice is St. Michael's Church, a landmark of the old Russian days. The former Russian mission house, built in 1842, also provides an interesting contrast with the building adjacent to it, a public school and another good example of modern development on the part of the United States government. These foreboding totem poles, so typical of Alaska, are said to be carved with native symbols of love, thereby forming an impressive gateway to a shaded walk that was named by the early Russian settlers as Lover's Lane. And we are told that not a few of the young lovers who once passed this way now lie at rest in the old Russian cemetery just outside the town, the saddest reminder of Sitka's founders and the thwarted ambitions of Tsardom in this part of the world. Sailing away from Sitka, we take with us the memory of a courageous people who once battled against the greatest odds of nature to establish a foothold upon a land which their rulers ultimately sold for a mere pittance compared with its present value. But American enterprise is making Alaska what it is today, and if there is any doubt about it, one needs only to behold the city of Juneau, the new capital of Alaska, and a concrete example of what the United States is doing by way of developing its frontier territory. A half a century ago, this little modern metropolis was no more than a miner's camp, the headquarters of the first American gold rush in Alaska. It owes its birth and growth, therefore, chiefly to gold mines, although other industries have added greatly to its stability. We are now flying over the famous Alaska Juneau mine, which produces about 12,000 tons of ore daily and employs an average of 900 men year in and year out. These lines of soil that reach out into the water are the residue of gold ore that has been accumulating for years. The Douglas Bridge connecting Juneau with Douglas Island and the city of Douglas was constructed under the direction of the Alaska Road Commission, with funds granted by the Public Works Administration of the federal government. In addition to its political importance, Juneau is an industrial and commercial center, serving as a distributing point for the surrounding territory. Its fine harbor is open the year round, thereby providing uninterrupted service for the passenger and freight ships that make regular calls throughout the year. Juneau, with its 6,000 inhabitants, is the largest city in Alaska, and it was named after Joe Juneau, a mining prospector, who is credited with being the first to discover gold here. This modest but comfortable residence is typical of the homes that have been built on the side of the hills that overlook the town, and great pride is taken in the little rock gardens that are arranged and cultivated by the owners. One of the city's most impressive residences is that of the governor of Alaska. Generally speaking, Juneau now compares favorably with any other town of its size under the protection of the Stars and Stripes. And from all indications, it is destined for a future unlimited in its possibilities. This new $1 million federal and territorial building was completed in 1931, and it now provides a meeting place for the territorial legislature and the United States District Court. En route to Juneau Airport, we pass many fine suburban homes, invariably surrounded with floral fences like this one. The Juneau Airport, a few miles from the city, reminds us of the tremendous part taken by airplanes in the present development of Alaska. When we consider that Alaska, which is 1/5 the size of the United States in land area, is limited to less than 600 miles of railway lines, and most of the automobile highways are only open in summer, we can appreciate the value of the airplane in serving isolated communities. About 100 landing fields, public and private, are maintained in Alaska, and the number is increasing from year to year. Many settlements of less than 100 inhabitants have an average of a plane arrival daily. Juneau's landing field is noted for its acres of purple and blue lupins, which grow profusely throughout the summer, providing a colorful and unique foreground for the snow-covered mountains beyond. Another unique blending of winter and summer is found at the Mendenhall Glacier, the outstanding scenic attraction of Juneau, where the mysterious action of a frozen river may be studied at close range. This prodigious field of ice is 17 miles long and over 2 miles wide at its base. There are several thousand glaciers in Alaska, only a few hundred of which have been named, and the smallest of the Alaska glaciers are larger than any of the ice masses in the United States. And it is here, in this magnificent setting, that we conclude our tale of two cities, Sitka and Juneau, the old and the new capitals of Alaska.